What's up, everybody?
Hey, everybody. What's up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Standing Out. Hey, everyone. How are you doing? Can you believe it's March? It's crazy how fast 2025 is going. Thanks so much for joining this episode of Standing Out. So excited to have you with us today. I'm Trey Griggs, your host and the founder of Beta Consulting Group. Check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com and see how we're helping companies with their go-to-market strategies. How do they really build a brand and get the message out there to drive sales? We'd love to talk to you about that and help you out with that. Click on the little button in the middle to schedule a call with yours truly. I'd love to hear what you're trying to accomplish and how we can work together. That's going to be a lot of fun. Also want to say thank you to our friends over at Reads Across America. We're so excited to be on the Reads Across America Trucking Tuesday lineup every Tuesday. If you're listening to us right now on Reads Across America Radio, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate that. And for those of you who don't know what Reads Across America is, I need you to change the way you're showing up in life. Check this out at Reads Across America. Phenomenal organization, remembering veterans and teaching the current generation about their sacrifices so they can appreciate what we have right here in America. Go to readsacrossamerica.org/standing out to partner with us. You can sponsor a wreath for their upcoming annual event in December. Every December, they lay wreaths at the tombstones of veterans all across the country. It's a phenomenal organization to be a part of, and we're excited to be partnered with them. We'll see them at METS coming up here at the end of the month, the Mid-America Trucking Show in Louisville. And we will be on the radio with them, which we're excited to get a chance to see them again and talk shop and have a good time. And if you're at METS, make sure you come by, see them, find me. I'll probably be wearing a jersey. Come up and say hi. We'd love to talk to you in Louisville and just get to know you and what you're doing out there, especially if you're a motor carrier. Listen, hey, carriers are the superheroes of this entire thing. So would love to shake your hand and get to know you at Matt's in Louisville at the end of the month. Finally, before we bring on our phenomenal guest today, I want to say thank you to our good friend Josh Lyles and Sales-CRM for sponsoring the show. Love working with these guys. If you're a freight broker and you haven't checked out what they've built, what he has built, make sure you do that. You know, not all CRMs are created equal, especially when most CRMs are not built with freight brokers in mind, as you guys know. And Sales Dash is is built by freight brokers, exclusively for freight brokers. So be sure to visit them at sales-crm.com, or you can find out more right on our website, betaconsultinggroup.com/standing-out. You can request a demo right there. Either way, let them know that you heard about it right here on Standing Out. All right, it's time to bring our guest on to the show. I've known this wonderful woman for several years now and watched her journey through leadership at a freight brokerage and being a part of TIA and women in logistics and so many different things in the industry, doing some phenomenal work. And I recently got to hang out with her in their office in Omaha, Nebraska. So please welcome to the show the founder of Able Transport Solutions in Omaha, Nebraska, Liz Wayne.
Everything's gonna be
you got it for me.
Everything's gonna be. Oh, such a good song. Oh, that's so good. How are you doing, my friend?
Good. Long time no see.
Well, I know it's been a couple days at least. It's been a little while, but it's great to chat with you. I'm so glad to have you on the show today. Thanks for taking the time to be a part of what we're doing here. How's everything in Omaha today?
Good. It was, we had 100-degree temperature swing in the matter of about 5 days, literally from like -30 to 70. So we're on the upside of that now. We're good.
That is Midwest living right there. And anybody who lives in the Midwest knows that that is very possible. That is a wild swing. So good for your sinuses, so good for your health. My goodness, that's pretty wild. So, well, it's good to get a chance to chat with you today. I enjoyed getting the chance to connect in Omaha. Now we have to tell this funny story because we tried to go to lunch.
Oh yeah.
We tried to go to lunch together after getting a chance to do some recording for a friend of ours. And we decided we went to the Benson area of Omaha, yep. Right? And we found a pizza shop. We're like, dude, let's get there. So we you park your truck, we go up, it's closed. It's a Tuesday. It's closed. We're like, that's weird. Okay. So then we walk down the block to a burrito joint. It's closed on Monday and Tuesday. Like, what is going on in this? Like, nobody eats on Monday and Tuesday in Benson downtown. What is the deal? What is that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't head that way to lunch often, so I'm gonna have to get to the bottom of that. That was whack.
You might not head that way anymore. I mean, my goodness, unless it's like a Thursday, you're out of luck.
Right.
That's pretty wild. But anyways, it was great to get a chance to hang out with you and to see you. And I also learned another fun fact about you. I don't know if I knew this or not. Maybe we talked about it, but you're a massive Kenny Chesney fan.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love Kenny. So you've seen him in concert?
Yes, probably 10 times.
Wow, very cool. That's awesome. You're a roadie in that regard. You're part of the No Shoes Nation for sure. Man, that's crazy. And you're seeing him at the Sphere, I guess, coming up soon. Is that right?
Yeah, so he's doing a little residency there this summer instead of getting out. So it'll be interesting. It'll be anything at the Sphere would probably be an experience just because haven't been there yet. But to see him there, it'll be great. I'm sure it's going to be like we're on the beach.
I was going to ask, is this your first time at the Sphere? Because I've heard some amazing things about that venue as a concert goer. Like every seat's incredible and the backdrops are, I don't know. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it will be my first time. So I'm pumped.
That's awesome. Well, I'm a big Kenny Chesney fan as well. I think his first, maybe he has two. I don't know if he has two or not, but his first greatest hits album was like, it's classic. It's so good.
Yeah,
I can listen to that one on repeat all the time. Well, I didn't know we're both Kenny Chesney fans, so
nice.
There you go. We got that going for us. All right. Well, let's chat a little bit about what's going on at Able Transport. First of all, tell everybody what you do, and then I'm going to ask you a couple questions. We're going to dig in.
Yeah, so Able Transport is a freight brokerage out of Omaha, Nebraska, specializing in flatbed heavy haul freight. So most of our customers are in the construction industry, and we try to be really, really good at that and show up for that customer.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you have a focus, you have a niche, because man, that's where the money can be made. How has the economy impacted construction from just your perspective from transportation over the last couple of years? I know 2024 was tough for some brokers. Are we seeing some changes? Has it been tough? Has it been good? What's been your take from your perspective?
We haven't seen a huge decline in construction. Housing is slowing down some with interest rates. That's probably just starting to come through the funnel since it takes so long, to get permits and build. But overall, just the rate per mile, just what the market is doing affects all of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. If the rates are too low, carriers don't make money, brokers don't make money. Like it impacts everybody downstream. There's no doubt about that. That's for sure. How did you get into the heavy haul side of things? Like, was that by accident? Was it intentional? What was the story behind that?
No, originally was, in hauling for the DOD and starting to see, okay, there's not a lot of van freight here. It's mostly flatbed is really how I learned flatbed freight. And then from there, I just really enjoyed it. I enjoy the challenges that it brings. I enjoy the people, the customers. But on the carrier side, it's like the cream of the crop. Some of these, like you're not out here driving an 8 or 9 axle RGN unless you really know your stuff. And so in my opinion, it's just the greatest place to be with the best, strongest people.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I hadn't thought of the fact that you have to be a pretty experienced driver to drive some of these, because you see like windmills getting hauled and these other like massive projects, and that like those trucks and all the different axle configurations. It's pretty wild what they can do in that regard. So that's really fascinating. I haven't had a lot of experience brokering freight. I think 6 months I've actually brokered freight in my career. It's not a long time, but what I did do is I did overall or oversized, heavy haul type freight. And I remember what I liked about it was the fact that you actually had different types of trucks. You had to figure out which one, and it was hard sometimes to find one. But there's this equipment that's out there for these types of hauls, and to me that definitely presented a challenge and also a little bit more enjoyable experience trying to solve those problems than just, hey, I need a van, I need a reefer. Those are standard across the board. So I imagine you might like that as well, some of the unique challenges around the truck types and the different trucks you need for different types of equipment.
Yeah, for sure. Because in the van and reefer world, it's like 24 or 26 pallets. That's kind of the figuring out that needs done. And then in our world, it's like there might be 5 different pieces of equipment that can haul the freight. So then you're just weighing all those, and they might all cost a different rate as well. So you're weighing all that out, who's what and where, adding those extra variables. It's a lot of fun. It requires an extra level though of, coordination.
Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Well, I got to be in your office, which is a phenomenal little facility that you've put together. Pretty neat office space that you have in there with a team that you have. You got a workout facility in there, which is cool. You got some nice little rooms. You got not a shuffleboard. What is the game where that slides on the sand across the what is
Shuffleboard.
that? Is that called shuffleboard?
I think so,
Oh my
right?
God. Well, whatever it is, you got that. You got that in there. It's a pretty cool office. It was neat to get the chance to see your team and kind of be a part of that, which is cool. And this has been a journey for you. And I'd love to dig in a little bit and talk about leadership. Was this something that you set out to do? Have you always been entrepreneurial? You know, where did that come from? And what was that journey to starting Able?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have. I definitely always saw potential in, kind of just trying to create opportunity for myself, say. So, like, an example of that, I got my real estate license the day that I could. So, you can't sign contracts in Nebraska until you're 19. So, I had passed all of the exams and done all of the things when I was 18, but I was just waiting to be old enough because you can't even be a witness to a contract until you're 19. And so like on my 19th birthday, got my license. And so I think like that entrepreneurial spirit was always in me since a young age. I talk sometimes because my son does it about Cutco and Vector. I did that when I was a teenager. And so I've definitely always had that spirit, I guess. Leadership, though, I mean, I was never formally or informally trained for management or leadership. So that brings its, challenges as you go and grow. But I do my best to overcome those and get a little bit better every day.
So let's talk about sales then, because I want to jump into that real quick because I didn't know that you did Cutco and doing those
I was
types of
terrible at
it. But you learned a lot. I mean, that's one of those things where you learn a lot really fast. How long did you do it?
Oh my gosh, like a summer.
Okay,
Like most people who sell it, a quick run. But back then, like now they do it all virtually and stuff. I think they might be getting back to some in-person demos. But back then it was like you drove to the people's house. You went in their kitchen and cut things with them, So definitely good practice and like at least at putting yourself out there and rejection.
Yeah, absolutely. So we bought Cutco knives from one of my former students who this is a funny story. So this kid was he had a tough time in school. He had too much energy and couldn't really follow the rules and whatnot. But anyways, he was starting to kind of figure some things out in life. And he said, "Hey, I'm doing Cutco. Would you let me come and do?" And I'm a door to door, sales guy and myself. So I'm like, "Yeah, come on, like do it." And I told my wife about it, and I really was just like, just go along with it. Let's give him a chance just to pitch, whatever. I had zero thought that my wife would want to buy these things, and they're expensive, So this guy comes in and he does a great job, and he blows my wife away with with the whole thing. And she's like, "We're getting these knives." I'm like, okay. So we bought knives from him. But at that time you go to people's houses and you do the demonstration, and then you have to try to sell them an expensive product. Now we'll say this was 2000 and probably 16 or 17, I'm going to say. And here we are 2025, and we've never even had them sharpened. They still work great. So,
oh my gosh, I have my set from when I sold 23 years ago, and I've never sharpened them, and I'm still using them.
Yeah, so it really is a great product, but it is tough
a great product
because you're selling something that people don't anticipate spending that much money for, and you're learning a lot about sales and how to do all that kind of thing. But it's those moments, I think, that you figure out, is this something I enjoy or not? Can I do this? What'd you do after Cutco? And talk about, just from, you said you're somebody that's always created an opportunity. The only way you create opportunity is by being able to sell something. So talk about your journey after Cutco and how that led to Able.
I mean, I guess the early days in trucking, I was just trying to sell myself. I got into the industry when I was 18. So started at a local trucking company that has about 300 or 400 trucks as their receptionist. And I had an infant at home and I wasn't sleeping well at night and that. And so one day I literally fell asleep at the desk because the phone never rang. They had an automated phone system. And so I joke about this, but my career literally started with me just asking everybody around me for things to do, because they had 2 brokerages and one, and and they were a truck line with 300 to 400 trucks. So everybody's hair was on fire all day long around me, except for me. I was just supposed to answer the phone that rang once an hour. And so it's just like in the beginning, it was just trying to kind of pitch everybody at that company, like, give me a shot. Let me do this for you. Let me do that for you. And I did a bunch of jobs that I didn't get paid for, but I learned a ton about trucking and about brokerage. Ended up at one of their small brokerages. And so I spent about 5 years at that company. And then I had an opportunity to join a startup brokerage and be their first employee. That was in 2008. So it was like me and the owner on day one, hiding from the fire marshal because we were moving a few loads before we had an occupancy permit. And so that was just like all of the startup fun and trouble and lessons. And eventually I wanted to focus on construction, flatbed, heavy haul, do my own thing. And so after about probably 6 or 7 years with that company is when I left and found Able.
Yeah. And so you basically, like you said, you sold yourself into different opportunities, learned through those opportunities, and just through that kind of figured out what you wanted to do. It's what it sounds like. And then you took the leap with starting Able. Was it scary to start Able at that point? Was there some fear, or was it just like, what's the worst that can happen? Let's do this. Was it, tell me about that.
There might have been some funny thing, though. I was pregnant and didn't know it. So I do always wonder if it would have been a few weeks later and I knew I was pregnant, would I have quit my job? Because for a while there, I didn't have health benefits in that until I was able to get things going for Able.
Right.
So I paid cash to have that baby and the next one, I believe. But I wonder if I would have had the courage if I had known I was with child. So I'm kind of grateful now, not kind of, I'm very grateful now that I didn't. But no, I wasn't, I was not fearful. I was ready.
Yeah. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Let's just see what happens here. Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? It fails and I go get a job again. Like
That's
have
right.
now.
What's interesting about entrepreneurship is that a lot of people are afraid of entrepreneurship who have good ideas and who maybe want to start something. And I think a lot of their fear is wrapped up in, well, what happens if I fail? And there's this fear of failure. But if I'm convinced of this, if you try to be an entrepreneur and it doesn't work, it makes you a better team member later because you have an appreciation you didn't have before. You have appreciation of the stress of payroll potentially if you get that far, and some other things like just all the things that go into getting something started. I think it only makes you more marketable, makes you better. But a lot of times people fear even starting because they're afraid, well, what happens if I fail? Then what do I do? Well, I don't know too many entrepreneurs who would look at somebody who took the leap and what they learned and not appreciate that, and potentially they can be more marketable at that point based on what they learned in their entrepreneurial journey. That's how I see it. I don't know. Do you see it the same way? What are your thoughts about that?
I do. I've never thought about it that way. But absolutely, because you learn so much about everything, about people, about every little aspect about business, of all of these things that you won't get in a role for a company,
Right.
In a single role, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, even if Able hadn't made it, you would have learned a lot more about running a freight brokerage at that point, on top of all the stuff you already knew. And if you shut the doors down today, who's not going to come after you and say, whoa, you're available? Can you help run my brokerage, or can you help do something along those lines? I think it just makes you more marketable. So kudos to you for not having fear and just jumping right in. I think that's not that common, unfortunately. I think a lot of people have great ideas. They're just afraid, too many people.
Yeah, for sure.
Happens all the time. So you said that you were not formally trained in leadership, but I think starting a company kind of gives you those moments where you have to learn. But you probably also learned a lot from the people that you worked for. What's that journey been like from being? I mean, most entrepreneurs start a company because they're a doer. We talked about this. You're a doer. I'm a doer. What was that journey like from going from being a doer to being the leader of other people, and what are the things that you've learned along the way that have been really helpful?
Yeah. If I could go back, so my company will be 10 years old here in a couple of months. And if I could go back and change anything, it would probably be kind of around this topic and how I delegated, when, what, and to who, I guess. I would sort of put some more thought into that, because that's the struggle of the entrepreneur, right? Is like you have this vision, and then ultimately, if you want employees, your task becomes to get these results through those people who may have, they all have their own competing visions, and these just different sort of things start to happen. And so I would have put more emphasis on just kind of like on culture and some other things before I delegated, as because it was probably 4 or 5 years into the business. It's like, okay, this isn't sustainable. I need to back out of like loads. Like I can't take one concern with a single load ever again in this company. Like I have to rise above it, and I should have spent more time like establishing what I wanted that to look like into the future, because I probably backed out a little bit too quickly of some things. And so then when I kind of like swooped back in, I was a bit like, well, things aren't quite exactly how I remembered. But I suppose, businesses are their own thing. They're only ours for a very short time in the beginning. And then they evolve and kind of like our children do, It's like they're ours for a minute, but then they're just their own thing and their own person and have their own personality and all of that. So like that's been a struggle, figuring out what to let go of and when.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on that every day.
Yeah, I think it is tough. It's one of those things that's hard for doers, because you have to be okay with somebody else doing it maybe a different way, at a different pace, maybe at a different quality. I mean, maybe better, maybe worse, who knows? But it's somebody else that's really driving that ship, and you're trying to get the most out of them and help them be successful and all those kind of things. And that's just not an easy thing to do. I think that too often we skip the training part of those things, or getting somebody, like getting a coach to come in and help us out with that. Would you, like, looking back, did you have any coaches along the way, or would you, if you had to do it again, would you bring somebody in just to be a coach, an outside perspective?
Probably. I do. I'm involved in Vistage, which is an organization like for CEO peer groups. So I do get a lot from that group. But one of the things I've learned is there's all different kinds of business owners, CEOs, and leaders. And so the founder versus the hired CEO versus the multi-generational person, and they all have different struggles and kind of different strengths that they can, and opportunities in that as well. And I think, now that I'm more mindful of that, I know, like, as a founder, what my pros and cons are and what I bring to the table, so like, for example, I just hired a president at the company, and I feel like, coming from the outside, he's not too close to it. Sometimes I'm too close to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so it's just providing this great balance of all of these things that leadership needs.
Yeah. That's probably one of those hires. It sounds like that you might look back in the future, you might look back and go, man, I should have done that one earlier. that one may have been better earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can imagine so. But that's so hard, like the delegating and knowing who to hire, and, how to evaluate talent and how to manage people effectively. Like, those are skills that are often not natural. They're learnable. Anybody can learn them, but they're often not natural, especially for doers, because I equate it to this. There's a reason Michael Jordan would be a terrible basketball coach. He's a doer. He's not gonna be good on the sidelines telling people what to do. Like, that's not how he is. So I think that's in many cases how entrepreneurs are. So it's interesting to hear your perspective on that, and the journey that you've taken to get you where you are with Able, which is really fascinating. All right, my friend, we got to pause for a second. We got to have a little fun. All right, we always like to have a little bit of fun around here, and today we're gonna play a little game called Would You Rather. Okay, it's just like it sounds. It's super easy. We're going to put a banner up on the screen with two choices, and you have to tell us which one you would rather do, and maybe a quick little bitty why if it's necessary. All right, here we go. First one. Would you rather be trapped in a small room with 10,000 tarantulas for 10 minutes, or eat 10 tarantulas in 10 minutes?
Oh my God. The thought of
terrible.
This alone stresses me.
Right out of the gate.
It's a small room, I guess. I can't eat one.
Yeah, like I don't know if I could eat them either. Are tarantulas like? Do they stink? Like, are they bite? Like, what do tarantulas do? I don't know. How dangerous are they?
How small is the room?
Yeah, this is a tough question. I mean, 10,000 tarantulas in any room would be pretty crazy. I don't care how big or small it is. Dude, that is a fear factor written all over this one. I think I'm with you. I think I got to stand for 10 minutes in a room with 10,000 tarantulas and close my eyes and wish for the best. All right, we're on the same page. Okay, next one. Would you rather be able to control the weather or the traffic? Ooh,
The weather.
the weather. Okay. What would you like? Is there something that you really like that you'd want every day, or that you want to be able to change from something? Like if it snows, you want to change it immediately to something else?
You know, we would just, if I were in charge of the weather, we would avoid the negative 30-degree days.
Those are
Like
out.
winter would be like 20 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, there are places around the world like that, Liz, just not Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in Missouri either, where I live. All right. Next one. Would you rather get into an argument with Morgan Freeman or Meryl Streep?
What are we arguing about?
I don't know, but I know my answer.
What's your answer?
I would have any conversation with Morgan Freeman just to hear him talk.
I was going to say Morgan Freeman too, but the argument thing was throwing me off. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that, but I would rather just listen. I mean, even if Morgan and I are arguing, I think it would be pleasant because of his voice.
Yeah, and if I was arguing with Meryl Streep, I feel like I'd be kind of scared. I don't know, like
I'm with you on that. I mean, Devil Wears Prada. There's different things out there that like it could be very uncomfortable. But Morgan Freeman, even if it's awkward, I feel like the voice just makes it worth it. So I'm with you. I go Morgan Freeman on that too. All right. Next one. We got two more. Here we go. Would you rather eat a raw onion or an entire lemon?
oh, a lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely
Plus,
don't want to
it'd be
eat an
good
onion.
for you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, lemon's technically a fruit, right? It's got seeds in it. It's technically a
Well,
fruit.
yeah, and it's like citrus. It's like a cleanser. That's why it's in all of the cleansers.
I don't know that I could.
Onion.
How
Ooh,
would you even eat an onion? You'd cry like crazy. It'd be terrible.
I don't know how you could eat either, but I'm going lemon if I have to
Well,
try.
I feel like onion is a Genesis 3 food, that God cursed the ground and up came onions. Like this is, not a huge fan of onions. Sometimes cooked maybe, but a raw onion, I got to go lemon. I'm with you on that. We got to go lemon. Yeah. All right. Last one. Would you rather have more time or more energy?
Ooh. Gosh, I mean, more time is a weird one because time's just kind of relative. Like it's just,
I mean, if you could have a 30-hour day instead of a 24-hour day.
I'm gonna say energy.
Ooh, okay. Tell me why.
I don't know because I feel like time, well, because to me that's all about like priorities and about like there's like time is I guess I don't even have words for the thoughts I'm having, but time is just time. You can't like I would if with more energy you might choose to spend your time differently all the time, or you might have more time because you have more energy. I don't
Maybe
know.
less sleep because you have more energy. That's a
Yeah.
tough one because I'm thinking if I had more time, first of all, how much more time? And can I take that time and get more energy out of it? Like, can I sleep a little extra? Would that help me have more energy? I don't know. But if you get more energy, you'll never get more time. So I'm kind of going that way that maybe I'll go time on that. It's a tough one. It's a good question. All right, we cap it off, my friend, with a random question of the day. Now, listen, this is a question I haven't seen. Our producer gets to come up with this. It could be serious. It could be funny. It could be a great question. Could be a dud. I don't know. Let's see what it is. Today's random question of the day is, if you could instantly become an expert in any field, what would it be? That's a good one. Ooh. I know which one I would pick. I got mine.
I don't know what I would call the field exactly, but like I would want to instantly know how the body works. Like
Okay.
if I could I don't want to practice medicine, but I would want like the knowledge.
Yeah, just have all the inside information on every little system and function and all that kind of stuff. Ooh, that's a good one, actually. I like that one. I would consider changing mine after hearing that. Mine was monetary policy. Like I feel like I struggle understanding monetary policy and how, just leveraging debt appropriately and how it works and global monetary policy. Like I feel like all that's way over my head. I just don't get it. So if I could understand monetary policy, I feel like that would help me make better decisions financially. So I'm going that route. I think that could help out. But I'm pretty interested in the knowing of the functions of the body, like how the body fully works. That's actually quite interesting. And I think I'd add to that, if I could, all the remedies that go along with it, like the natural remedies for the body, like what does the body respond to naturally? I'd want to know that as well, just to make sure that I could continually do the right things to make myself feel healthy. I feel like sometimes I'm guessing or I'm trusting people, and then I feel like things change 10 years down the road, 8 years down the road. It's always hard to know what's going on. So to be all knowing about the body and its remedies, that is actually a decent one. That's a good choice, my friend. All right. Well, that's the fun for the part of the show for sure. We're going to go ahead and wrap this baby up. What is on the horizon for Able Transport Solutions? You got anything coming up? Anything new? Any shows you're going to? I'm pretty sure you're probably going to be at TIA and a few others, of course.
Yeah, going to TIA. I'm part of the programs committee now, so excited for conference and spending some time with them. And I have my women in logistics lunch there, of course. But yeah, that's about it. Of course, we'll have somebody at BCS, I'm sure, and FTR in the fall, but otherwise just ready for the summer and the sunshine and warm weather.
Dude, no doubt. And I'm hoping one of these days I make it up there for the College World Series in June. It's on my bucket list to do, and I've heard so many good things about that. So who knows? Maybe seeing you in Omaha one of these summers, maybe not this summer, but one of these summers to catch the College World Series, which is always amazing. Liz, thank you for being on the show. Thanks for coming by and just sharing a little bit of your experience and knowledge and wisdom with us. And I look forward to seeing you back out there on the road real soon.
Yeah, thanks, Trey. Nice to see you.
All right, everybody, make sure you come back every Tuesday for an episode of Standing Out with great guests like Liz Wayne on the show. Also, don't forget to make sure that you go and check out Reads Across America. Go to readsacrossamerica.org. And finally, if you're a freight broker and need some help with your CRM, go talk to my good friend Josh Lyles over at Sales-CRM. Tell him you heard about it right here on Standing Out. And hopefully we'll see you on another episode real soon. Remember, my friends, until next time, stop standing still, start standing out. We'll see you soon.